Just when you thought the war over electronic voting machines was over, at least for now, back it comes, fueled by those two most unavoidable realities of our times: fake news and Elon Musk. We'll deal with the fake news or misleading news in a moment, but first let's deal with Mr. Musk. For those of you late to the game, Elon Musk has triggered a mini earthquake over the weekend on Twitter after posting that electronic voting machines should be eliminated because the risk of them being hacked by humans or AI, while small, is still too high. He was speaking not in the context of India, but about election irregularities in Puerto Rico. But this was Elon Musk joining the Indian opposition's favorite pastime, bashing EVMs. So how could they possibly ignore him? It didn't matter, of course, that all the conspiracy theories about EVMs that dominated the opposition's clarion call warnings before the results evaporated suddenly overnight when the numbers came in, and it was clear that the BJP had been cut to size, humbled, chastened, and that the opposition had done way better than even they perhaps expected. Well, amidst the celebrations, it's almost like the opposition forgot all about poor EVMs and all the scorn that they had been pouring on them. So for a good fortnight, the centerpiece of India's voting exercise, the electronic voting machine or EVM, silently dropped off the discourse, gently relegated to the pre-election noise and rhetoric. But then Elon Musk happened, and the opposition, which has thus far been suspicious of Elon Musk, who they see as a self-obsessed, unpredictable capitalist man-child, is now practically doing anga pradarshanams to his tweets, calling for the elimination of EVMs. A political class that has had an unabashed distaste for all things Musk is suddenly bowing to his tech wisdom, treating his view on EVMs as the last word of an unignorable tech bro. They're busy quoting his tweet to save face, because after all, even if you don't like Musk, how to ignore what he's saying when it's exactly what you've been saying before the election results? Of course, viewer, someone could hit back and say, well, maybe EVMs are only partially hacked, and if they weren't, then the BJP would have done worse and the opposition would have done better. But then anyone who says this must also know that the Election Commission has repeatedly over the years thrown open its doors to anyone, yes, anyone, to come and have a hand at hacking or tampering with EVMs. Not a single time so far has anyone succeeded. These hackathons have been conducted by the Election Commission, that other sumptuously derided entity whose character and integrity has for months been put through a shredder by the opposition, justifiably so, only to blossom into a grudging romance post the results. But if anyone had any doubts about the Election Commission, these hackathons have actually been conducted under the watchful eyes of the Supreme Court, not by the Election Commission itself. But then this is Elon Musk. He's above all these silly institutions and their claims, right? And that's why when a former minister challenged Musk's claims online about how hackable EVMs are, Elon just scoffed back, anything can be hacked. Apart from this flood of clapbacks to Elon Musk, including questions over whether he was actually admitting, therefore, that Tesla cars and Starlink internet satellites could be hacked, his claim actually lit another fire, putting the opposition in a bit of a quandary, in a bit of a paradox. On the one hand, it had put EVM bashing on the back burner thanks to the encouraging election results, and yet here was one of the richest men practically handing them their biggest pre-election claim on a titanium-plated platter. Even poor exiled Sam Pitroda, who was unceremoniously ejected from the Overseas Congress before the elections, felt emboldened enough to step back into the ring and revive a clarion call he claims he's been making since the 90s about EVMs being full of hackable holes. But Elon Musk was only one part of this EVM tamasha. The other was a screaming news headline in a Mumbai afternoon newspaper claiming that a relative of a Shinde Sena MP from Mumbai, who had won by just 48 votes, had used his mobile phone to unlock an EVM. Look at the headline. I'm not making it up. Even I posted about it. deleting it shortly after, realizing there was something seriously wrong with what this article had claimed. Either way, the story just exploded. It was picked up and amplified by every opposition leader, thunderingly angry, demanding answers. Every party picked it up. It was fanned to a frenzy by luminaries and influencers aplenty, only for the story to crash and burn a day later. The story not only had nothing to do with EVMs, but there's no proof of the dramatic claims that were made, and the newspaper had to issue a tiny apology that would be missed if you weren't looking for it. But the Election Commission is furious by what it sees as weaponized fake news to discredit the voting process. Now, let me be very clear about one thing. EVMs and the Election Commission are not beyond question. They are not God. They must be questioned, and they must be bulletproof. That's what democracy is all about. The unauthorized use of a mobile phone at a voting center by the relative of a Shinde Sena MP and anything more must be investigated without mercy. But what does one say about a story that became the centerpiece of a 48-hour political news whirl that called into question the electronic voting machine, only to crash and burn and be retracted embarrassingly just 24 hours later? But since Elon Musk is in the house, I have an idea. And let me end with that idea, viewer, because we believe in constructive solutions. When Elon Musk announces dates for his long-anticipated India visit, the Election Commission should invite him and his team to have a go at the humble Indian EVM. If the Election Commission is confident enough to conduct a no-holds-barred hackathon, then surely EVMs can withstand a little Elon.